I remember when I was finally looking to improve my time management skills, the main bit of advice that every YouTuber would say is to build a timetable. But I tried it. Around 3 years ago, I tried it, and for some reason, I just felt like new things would pop up every day or the day before where I would have to adjust or change the timetable. And, that's very annoying because you imagine like you got a set goal and a set vision of what you're going to do the next day, and then all of a sudden you get a call and everything seems to change. You get an email and you're asked to come into work on this day, or your training schedule changes, and you can imagine how frustrating that is. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about all the things that I implemented in order to be able to manage my time better as a student and an athlete. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nikia, and I help young guys on their journey to reach their sporting and academic goals through self-improvement. If this sounds like a community for you, make sure you like and subscribe. It's a win-win for the both of us. Also, if you want one-to-one coaching, click on the link in the description. First thing I want to say, don't use timetables. For some reason, it's very well known around a lot of YouTubers that setting a timetable for every single day and making it as specific as possible is really important to getting to your goals. And I agree with that. Like, I think timetables are great if you can stick to them. But in my personal opinion, just everything seems to change, right? Like, every single day, something new comes up that you have to do. Like, I got an email this morning that I have to fill out some sheet for my work. And it just sort of interrupts the flow of your day. My advice on this would be to, instead of using a timetable, every night before you go to bed, is to grab a notebook and write down a specific list of things that you want to achieve in the next day. So, for example, I've got one here. So I make sure to every single night before bed, write down everything I want to do in the next day, and I tick it off. I literally tick it off as I go through it. I've also got a habit tracker there. Same thing, tick it off every single day as I go through it. It's just these specific things I want to get done every single day to make sure that it's a successful day. Second thing I want to talk about is called Eat the Frog. And this was popularized by a big YouTuber called Hamza. And it's basically an analogy that you want to do the hardest thing first every single day. So the example that's used, the reason why it's called Eat the Frog, right, is because if you got given the choice to eat a frog either before your dinner or after, which one are you more likely to choose? So hopefully most of you, if you're watching these type of videos, will say before, because you want to get out the disgusting, like, eating a frog, literally you eating a frog. You want to do that before you have a nice, like, nutrient dense meal, you know what I mean? But if you eat it after, you're gonna have like the stench of a frog in your mouth. You obviously don't want that, right? So hopefully a lot of you would rather eat it before. That's the same thing with doing the hard things first. Now let me give you an actual real life example of this. So whenever I used to wake up, like during exam season last year, I'd wake up, and the first thing I would do before I do anything else, before I eat, brush my teeth, I wake up, I get over to this desk. My bed is right over there. I wake up, I stand up, get to this desk. I would do a 2 hour timed biology paper, and then I would mark it straight away, because I know that it, for me, was one of the hardest things to do in the moment, because I've got no one else to keep me accountable. It's effort, right? Doing a whole paper is a lot of effort. It's hard, it's not fun, but as soon as I got that out of the way, throughout the rest of the day, I would have maths revision, which I do in a group, as most of you know, and I just find that a lot easier than me doing a paper by myself. So that's what I meant by eat the frog. You see how I do the hardest thing, the thing that I don't like first, before I do the easier type of work. So what can be another example of this? If you don't like going to the gym, you should do it first in the morning. You should wake up 6 a.m., out the door, go to the gym, do your workout, then do everything else. For me, I enjoy training. I don't mind what time I have to do it. Everything that I do is based around training. So I make sure to schedule in studying around training because I enjoy training. It doesn't take a lot of effort for me to go out and do the training that I have to. Another thing I want to talk about is reducing wasted time. And this seems obvious, right? But in reality, you don't actually realize how much wasted time or how much time you've wasted during the day. I want you to think about commuting, for example. If you're something like me, you probably take public transport or you walk somewhere, right? I always used to walk to school. During that 20-minute window, there's a lot of time that you could have been doing in anything else, right? In my opinion, you should download things on your phone that actually help you get towards the goal. So, for example, I used Seneca and I would listen to podcasts on biology. I think there's literally a podcast called Teach Me Biology. If you do biology in the UK, you can listen to that podcast and it's literally, you can just listen to it and the information goes into your head as you're listening to it on that commute instead of listening to just music. So obviously I didn't do this throughout the whole 2 years of college, but towards that last year, I'd make sure I'd be doing everything I can because as student athletes, you are limited on time. You have to accept that. And for me, having in those extra 20 minutes, which added up after a lot of months, it is worth it. And that's definitely something that helped me take it to that next level and perform in my exams. This leads on to the next point where I would always finish schoolwork at school. So what I mean by that is if you have homework, you're going to do it on your breaks and lunches. You don't want to come home and have some useless tasks first thing to do at home because you feel like, oh, it's pressured for you to do it because teachers set it. You need to finish everything there and then so you can focus on the stuff that actually matters. When no one's around, no one's watching, there's no distractions. And that ensures that you have a clear divide between your work at home and at school because you want to be doing most of your revision at home while doing most of your learning at school, especially if you're doing it in a school sort of context. I've linked a lot of these points to school, but that's just something I can relate to. It goes the same with work, university, or just any training to do with your sport. I do swimming, that's why it was my example. I want to leave the training at the pool and then I want to come back and do everything like gym outside of it and research on technique, everything to do with that. Another example I can give you is I stretch because it reduces injury. There's a lot of benefits of stretching, but I leave that on poolside. So after training sessions, I go there, stretch, and then I come back. So I know if I'm at home, I'm not in the environment that I will be in order to do stretching because I hate it, right? I don't think anyone actually likes stretching. So I force myself to stay there for a bit longer because at a pool or after a training session, I've got no other distractions and I am going to stay to stretch. So I hope you found these tips useful. Make sure you implement them any way you can into any situation you have because it will make life a lot easier for you. I hope this will help you stay organized and just make sure you prioritize the things that actually you desire and the goals that you want to achieve. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.